Oh, welcome back. And here we have a nice poll about our wonderfully leftist Democrat, which should be the shining beacon of, I don't know. No, it should be the utopia of the U.S. with the Democrats in power for so long and have implemented all of their wonderful, wonderful programs. These cities should be, Portland, Seattle, San Francisco should be shining to the rest of the nation. And yet, from CBS San Francisco Bay Area, Channel 5 here, poll: San Francisco residents consider relocating as crime worsens quality of life in a decline. Say what? This is the left, one of the leftist strongholds of the past decades. And yet, people want to leave? Say it's not so. This is from Betty Wu. And we have, as San Francisco tries to bounce back from the devastating impact of COVID-19 pandemic, crime and homelessness now rank among the highest levels of concern among local residents. Many are contemplating relocating, according to a new poll. The poll was released by the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce and based on feedback from more than 500 San Francisco residents who are registered to vote. It found that more than 40% say they plan to move out of the city in the next few years. Lindsay Stevens just finished moving out over the weekend. There's nothing worse than seeing such a beautiful place in such disarray, and I really thought I was going to be sad when the movers loaded up the last container on Saturday, and I have never been more relieved. After more than 12 years in San Francisco, Stevens recently sold her place and moved to the Palm Springs area. I honestly think in the last 3 years we've seen a massive decline in the quality of life, and that was only enhanced over COVID. The homelessness has been a severe problem. The people are not feeling safe walking their dog, and the number of break-ins seem to be constantly on the rise. Her feelings are reflected in the results of the chamber poll. 80% of residents say crime has worsened in recent years. 70% feel the quality of life has declined, and 88% say homelessness has worsened. 76% also believe that increasing the number of police officers in high crime neighborhoods should be a high priority. I know she puts that on there, but just wait till the read all this way, and I'll have a thing about Betty Wu here in a second, and her article here. I think safety is a huge concern. Even 2 years ago, when I initially moved back to the city, I never viewed certain neighborhoods as necessarily unsafe, said Minku Lee of San Francisco. The 24-year-old resident became a victim himself this past Friday. He said he was headed to happy hour on 3rd Street near Oracle Park with his friends when he was racially and physically attacked by a homeless man. In San Francisco, the beacon of racial intolerance or racial tolerance and leftist ideas and everything else, he was attacked physically and racially by a homeless man. He said a slur or two, forcibly pushed me over, /tripped me. Really startled by the incident, said Lee. An overwhelming 82% of those polled say they'd like to see more caseworkers on the street to help people with mental illness and substance use problems. Nearly 75% support more temporary sheltering of the homeless people. And all this, no crime and all that type of stuff. And what's the mayor focusing on? Earlier this month, Mayor London Breed announced a $1 billion investment to help fix the problem over the next 2 years. It would include funding housing and mental health services. But where nothing says anything about probably some of the major aspects of why this is all going on. I didn't see anything on here about the whole entire defund the police, which San Francisco has done. No, nothing mentioning that. Although they did say people, more than 3/4 want to see increased number of police officers. And let's face it, there's another little thing. Just recently, Target announced that they were leaving, and everybody's all concerned and all. Well, you did that with yourself, I think, with what, Prop 49 and Prop 47, I think it is, back in 2014, when California, under the Democrats proposed this one, that a crime if you were to walk into a store, and I'm sure you've seen a video of it, bring in a calculator and steal $949. Basically, the police do nothing. And Californians are okay with this? I mean, seriously, think about the stupidity that it takes for something like that. And then they wonder why crime is on the rise with those two things. Seriously, I mean, apparently it takes a brain surgeon, especially in the Democratic Party, to understand why crime's going and rising. But they don't have any of those, because I don't think they have one brain cell among them. I don't see where, and of course she can't say anything about that, because that would be admitting what they've pushed for the past year and a half is flawed. Just what every Republican said was going to happen has happened. And they can't do that because Republicans bad, Democrats good. Yeah, what do you think is going on here? Let me know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. And I'll see you next video.